So here we go, Girsan MC312 with those El Cheapo Winchester Universal shells. Today we're going to take a look at 3 different imported firearms that are a copycat design. We're also going to talk about imported firearms in general, so let's go. What's up, crew? It's Chris with Clover Tac. Welcome back to the channel. Not going to waste any time. Going to put a few rounds downrange with the Girsan Regard. This is the Gen 4. Fire a few shots and then we will kind of talk about this firearm. By the way, before we start, safety is always first. Got my eyes on, my ears in. Here we go. All right, so there it was, the Girsan Regard Gen 4, and right away you can tell this is a Beretta copy, of course. Now, a couple of things that you may not realize when we're talking about imported firearms and particular copies is they can be well designed. As far as the Regard, very popular model. Not a lot bad to say about this particular thing. Let me get it decocked there. It does have some nice G10 style grips. Unlike a Beretta, at least a Beretta 92, slide is a little more bulkier. This is more of a Centurion style slide. And then also the barrel locking block is a little bit different. With some of the earlier model Berettas, that was sort of a sticking point for a lot of people. They considered it a problematic area. And with Girsan, they've kind of addressed that. So while Girsan did make a copycat here of a Beretta, they also tweaked it a little bit. And so far have had no issues. I do have a video for this one, several actually, here on the channel. I'll link those up, so be sure to check those out. And so that leads me into what I wanted to talk about a little bit when it comes to imported firearms. Now, they're not all created equal. Certainly, they're not all trash and they're not all treasure. But I think the most important thing to keep in mind when you're talking about firearms that have been imported into the country, and that's been going on for many decades now, it's nothing new, is taking a look at the company that is importing them. In this case, with the Girsan firearms we're going to be looking at today, that company is European American Armory. And one of the great things about EAA is they work really closely with the factory, with the manufacturing facility, with Girsan, to make sure that any kinks are lined out, the product is up to standard, it looks good, it functions well, all of those things. Now let's take a look at the Girsan MC312 Sport Shotgun. Now, just like the Regard, Girsan makes those handguns in all types of styles. They also make the Girsan MC312 Shotgun here, various barrel lengths and styles as well. This one has the pistol grip style stock with what I think is a 24-inch, I believe, barrel, maybe 28. Anyway, the point being with this, it is a copycat basically of a Benelli shotgun action, inertia driven, and it's one of the smoothest shotgun actions you could possibly ask for. As I load up here, another cool thing about this shotgun is the magazine tube. You can use Remington 870 parts for the extension on that. The other cool thing is I'm using some Winchester Universal shells, and these are typically really bad in semi-automatics. They don't cycle. And this shotgun, I have no doubts here because I've had it for a while and I've had no issues. I have no doubts it will cycle them. So here we go, Girsan MC312 with those El Cheapo Winchester Universal shells. And as you can see, cycled fine, locked back. I'm telling you, if you have purchased any of those Winchester Universal shells and tried to use them in a semi-automatic before, you know what I'm talking about. So that was a feat in and of itself. I attribute that to the action on this. But again, the overmolded furniture, the smooth action, the ability to accessorize, and especially having that optics rail on the back makes that one sweet shotgun. Now, I've saved what is possibly the most copied handgun on the planet, the Colt 1911, for last. This right here is the Girsan MC 1911 Hunter, 6-inch barrel, 10 millimeter. Again, have videos here on the channel with this. Now, unlike the Regard and the MC 312 we just looked at, I have tweaked on this one a little bit, changed to some, I think they call these the Bogey G10 grips from Lock Grips. Got my Streamlight TLR10 flashlight on this thing, magazine bumper, and also painted that front sight white. Not a big fan of front and rear blackout sights, but let's put a few down range with this. What do you say? Here we go. And there. Well, at 10 millimeter. Whew, gotta love it. Now, just like the Regard, just like that MC 312, you know, the 1911s from Girsan, these imported firearms, you know, can't complain too much. Like I said, tight tolerances on this one, great trigger. All three of these particular examples have run great, have never had a day's trouble out of any of them. But again, I think that goes back to the company that is importing the firearms. I think it's really important for those import companies to have a great relationship with the manufacturer and feed them inputs on their wants, needs, and desires, especially when issues arise, mechanical issues that might affect the reliability of said firearms. Hey, if you want to check out more stuff from Girsan, like I said, tons of it here on the channel. I'll link some of it right over here. As for this one, we're done. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. And until next time, don't forget to chain fire freedom.